All right, guys, welcome back to MVL's YouTube page. Today we're behind the wheel of a brand new 2026 SL63, and this car is incredible. So the exterior it's actually graphite gray Magno paint, which is exclusive manufacturer, which we'll go over later on in the video so you can see it, but it almost looks black, which is pretty cool. And then we got the night package, which gives you the black exterior, which if I'm speccing an SL63 all day, I'm going monochromatic. It just gives it like almost like a more aggressive feel cosmetically to the car. It almost looks like a shark. What we'll be going over today is why the SL63 is the flagship Mercedes-Benz and what you get via ownership if you do decide to go with the SL63. A lot of cross shopping with this car is with the 911 Turbo S. We are in the Cabriolet, which I'm not really a Cabriolet guy, to be honest with you. But cosmetically, I think this looks a lot better in the Cabriolet versus like the biggest competitor this car probably has, which is a 911 Turbo S. And I'm going coupe in that car all day. I think you lose a lot of the lines in the 911 when you do go cab, but in this car, it just makes it look a lot more aggressive. But under the hood, we got a 4.0 liter V8 twin turbo, 577 horsepower, and this thing rips. Carbon fiber interior, carbon fiber steering wheel. It does have the AMG night package, like I mentioned, on the exterior. Plus it also has the AMG carbon interior, which gives you the wheel, carbon door sills here, and the center side here is all carbon fiber. The interior, I love it. It's called Red Pepper, which makes a lot of sense because it is extremely red. It's probably a bit too red for me, but if you like red interiors, this is nice. And you have deviated stitch in silver, and then the dash is all black with Bordeaux. It's almost like a deeper red deviated stitch, so everything looks consistent. All right, we're just at a red light here, but the steering wheel, it looks like there's a lot going on. You kind of got like 4 little levels here, but I'll tell you what it all controls. So if you scroll here, it's almost like a trackpad via mouse, and you can change things like how many kilometers are on the car. Like I said, this is a brand new car, so we're at 817 kilometers. This is your engine data, which is pretty cool. It'll tell you where you're at, your setup, so you can kind of choose what you want. Via chassis, if you want your valves open via exhaust. You can go over all of that and toggle through what you want. If you scroll once again, you'll see your map can be displayed between your speedometer and your RPM and your tach, which is nice. And then this is going to be just your temperatures, which is pretty standard in every other vehicle. At the bottom here, this is just going to be your cruise control. This car is optioned with a level 2 semi-autonomous. So we'll keep you in the lane as long as there's 2 solid signs. And you'll see a little icon here, and as well as in the heads-up display, which we probably won't be able to get on the camera. But it'll tell you when it registers the 2 solid lines. It'll give you 2 green lights when it's active. So that's when you can take your hands off the wheel. Every 45 seconds or so, it'll kind of tell you just to touch the wheel because there are sensors in here. Just making sure you are alert and aware because it is not full self-driving. And then on the button here, it just says on and off, pretty self-explanatory. That's where you turn it on and or off. And then the button above, you can choose how many car lengths you wish the adaptive system to keep from the car in front of you. On the right side is cool. So the touch screen here, the interface, it's actually really intuitive. It's a nice big screen. It's actually user-friendly, like everything is just in the reach of your hand pretty much. But if you're driving quick or whatever it is and you want to toggle through your steering wheel, you can do that through the right-hand side. So I can select navigation, radio, your basic stuff that you would get in pretty much any car. But we're in an SL63. Who cares about all the tech stuff? We're here to talk about the performance. Ooh. That sounds good. And I'm currently in comfort right now. I'm not pushing the car that hard. We will get to a safe place where we can test the horsepower and how everything feels in the car. But we're on suburban streets right now, so we won't go too crazy. But again, this is more of a touring sports car. So you kind of want to see what it feels like when you're driving day to day. Like, you're not going to be pushing this car every day. You can take it on the track. I heard it is a beast. I've never experienced this car on the track. I would love to. I could see it performing really well. But for that, I'd probably, like, if I was bringing a car to the track and I was owning the car, I'd go coupe, because you're going to get a lot of drag with the cabriolet with the air coming through. But I'd be curious to see how this would feel versus a Turbo S, because that's pretty much what it's comped with. Price tag, this first Turbo S, I think you're getting a lot of car in the SL63. Like, the MSRP of this vehicle is probably around 300 inclusive of Lux tax, where the Turbo S, I think Porsche has lost their mind a bit. Like, here in Canada, Turbo S, if you want to spec it from factory, like a nice spec, you're at least 350 plus Lux. Like 400,000 for a Turbo S, I'm not paying it. I think the Turbo S is a great car, but when we're talking 400,000, we're talking a lot of vehicles. And not just new cars. Like, in the pre-owned market, you can pick up an Aventador for 450, 430. Why would you not do that? Like, the road presence of that car, it's a V12. I think the appreciation of that car versus a Turbo S is night and day. And if you're spending 400,000, that's 50 grand. Not much to get a better car. I mean, a way better car. But we'll go over the differences between what I experienced in this versus a Turbo S. Again, because that's the main comp. Okay, sorry about that. What I was doing was downshifting. This is a 9-speed automatic vehicle versus the PDK 7-speed. It's a bit slower. Just noticing, like, I'm downshifting. Now I'm in third. So that's almost like a half a second delay, which you do not get in a Turbo S. But I do find at lower speeds that this car, it is a lot smoother. Like, if I'm just cruising and I'm not using the shift paddlers myself, yeah, like the car just switched and you didn't, like, it was simultaneous. Like, you didn't really notice it change at all. Which, I mean, it's a good thing in a touring car, but I would probably want a little bit more play, a little bit more responsiveness, especially if I'm absolutely ripping the car. I'll change it to sport to see if that changes anything for us. You have to be in sport. Sport changes everything, changes the dynamics, changes the shift timing, which makes sense. I knew that was probably gonna happen, but I just wanted to see if it made a night and day difference, which it does. Like, everything right now is exactly how I would expect it. Like, no delay at all. Here we go, 4,000. It's incredible. I will say, the SL63 sounds a lot better than the Turbo S, but Mercedes-Benz in general always have. Porsche's got to fix that. I think a Turbo S with an Akapovic exhaust sounds incredible, but again, we're in a stock car, and emotionally the sound is there. Like, if I put an exhaust on this, I could see it sounding a lot better than a Turbo S. So right now we're just comparing, like, bone stock cars, apples to apples. This car definitely feels, yeah, I love it. To be honest with you, I think it feels a bit better than a Turbo S. And you're saving about, I'd say for like a well-spec car, you're saving around 80,000. Like, we're not missing a single option in this car. Like, we got the Burmester 3D sound, which again, if you are getting a Mercedes, don't ever buy one without it. Because the actual resale market, like the pre-owned world, which is what we specialize in, like, Burmester is a huge miss. Like, I'm willing to pay more for a car with Burmester, because when the end user who's buying the pre-owned car comes in, this is the first thing they ask: does it have Burmester? So it is expensive. It's a $7,000 option, but again, you're gonna recoup a portion of that money when you do trade the car in, because it does add a lot of value. And again, we got the AMG night package. I think that's like a $3,500 option. AMG carbon interior. We have the 22 AMG night package wheels on these. So like they're almost like the Spider rims. Cosmetically, I think they look a lot better, which you will see later on in our other video when we do the exterior walk around on the car. Because when you're getting a sports car, yeah, the SL63 is a bit of a gentleman's car. I would agree with that. But I don't know. I always think sports cars should be a little more monochromatic. Like if I want something more elegant, like I'm going to Aston Martin. And like, again, Aston Martin, you can get a performance car, that's what they are, but they're more refined, more elegant, more classy. So I wouldn't go as crazy with my Aston Martin because it's more of an elegance appearance, where Mercedes is more like it's a sports car DNA. They want it to look aggressive. So I would definitely be choosing the night package in that. But we're almost at the road where I'm gonna push the car, and I think that's what we're all waiting for, to see what the SL63 can do. And I'm in comfort on that acceleration, and I'm pretty excited to experience Sport Plus. Okay, so we made it to the road where we can push the car, but there's a semi-truck blocking us, but I'm gonna create some space. I've changed the dynamics to sport, so that's where you're gonna feel the chassis change, so the dampers will stiffen about 15%. I'll also notice the steering wheel is a bit heavier, which I do enjoy, but I'll go into gear 2 and we'll push it. Yeah, incredible. Like, it's incredible. Pure smile right to your face. Power is instant. What's cool on the engine data is it's gonna tell you how much feet of torque and the horsepower it's actually using. Like, this is live data, which I think is pretty cool, because it kind of tells you exactly where you're at within the car. And I actually haven't seen that before on a car. All right, so I was only able to use about 200 of the horsepower there, and we have 577 in this car. I should start shooting these videos on the Autobahn, because I don't think I'll ever utilize 577. But you can tell, like 200 horsepower, within like a second, you saw the response is there. It's quick, it's good for merging lanes, it feels good, brings a smile to your face. It's kind of everything you'd want in a sports car. All right, so we're still stuck behind this truck. It's impossible to get around it. But I know a road where we could really push this thing, and we're gonna put the top up because my bald head is killing right now. But you could do this until I think it's 28 or 30 kilometers. And it's cool. Yeah, it's a lot better for me. Done. So what was that, 3 seconds, 4 seconds? It's pretty impressive that you can just go from like cabriolet to the coupe feel. And the inner side of this is actually nice because it's all finished in Alcantara. But again, right now it does feel like a coupe, and I feel like that would be good for us if we're in Sport Plus. So we finally made it to the street that I wanted to test pretty much everything. Right now, what we'll go over is launch control. That's when you'll feel the full capability of the vehicle's performance aspect. Again, this is my first time driving an SL63, so this is all kind of new to me, so I'm pretty excited to see how well this thing performs, the dynamics, how spirited the drive is. So for launch control, you just want to scroll this to Sport Plus. Again, make sure you got 2 hands on the wheels, foot all the way on the brake, foot all the way down on the gas, and hold. So, yeah, that's incredible. I love it. That's what sports cars are about. Just the smile, the pit in your stomach, the way it makes you feel. It's almost like in a roller coaster We're not gonna do that again, but we're gonna go around because this is a private street. And we'll go over the different modes, but that was awesome. That felt good. Sport. So sport, again, the performance will feel good. So it's pretty quick. So right now I just hit, it said I hit 500 utilization of the horsepower. I don't want to go too crazy, but listen to how quick the transmission actually is when you're in Sport Plus or Sport. Downshifting, you get a lot of exhaust notes, which is nice, because I feel like a lot of cars, you don't really feel that anymore. And then once you're done having fun, back to comfort, and there you go. You're just kind of cruising like nothing happened, and it feels great. It's a good drive. I approve.